Happy Hump Day. I'm Heidi Glaus. There's a restaurant in St. Louis where history comes alive once you step inside. It's where Frank Sinatra once dined and where a sugar warehouse used to be. Dana Dean spent some time at Al's restaurant and says it's an experience she will not forget.
I will not forget this. I have to say it was one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. Al's is featured in this new book, Unique Eats and Eateries of St. Louis. Between the Eads Bridge and the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge, there's a restaurant that's a bit off the beaten path. But when you see this neon sign at First and Biddle, you know you're in the right place.
It's right on the other side of the tracks. I like to call it, it's on the right side of the tracks.
Al's restaurant has been in the same location on the St. Louis riverfront for 92 years. Food writer Suzanne Corbett was so enamored by its history, she wrote about it in her book, Unique Eats and Eateries of St. Louis.
What's great about this place is the food, the style, it's classic tableside service.
Italian immigrants Louise and Albert Baroni Sr. opened Al's in 1925 in what was an old sugar warehouse.
It started off very humble beginnings where the dock workers would come and eat egg sandwiches.
But in the mid-60s, there was a fire as depicted in this painting on the wall.
The building behind us caught fire and it fell on this part of the restaurant.
After the fire, the owner's son, Albert Jr., turned the restaurant into a fine dining institution. That's also the same time this steamboat bar was built.
All the wood inside the bar was hand carved by monks from one of the local monasteries.
The floorboards have been told that came off of a steamboat itself.
We've been told there's no other bar like this in the world.
Painting was painted by a Muni set designer.
If people want to know what the St. Louis riverfront looked like in the 1890s, 1880s, just come into Al's and look at the mural.
You might also notice there's just one window in the whole place.
That's where the front door used to be. When the railroad came into being, Al was afraid that somebody would walk out the front door and walk into a train.
And as for the menu, well, there is no menu.
At Al's, we do not have a printed menu. We have what is known as a visual menu.
It takes about 10 minutes for servers to recite the menu. The recipes are all 92 years old from Milan, Italy. Like the menu here, none of the recipes are written down, but passed down. Executive chef Mark Hibler learned them from his mother, May, who worked here for 63 years.
She was the head chef before I got here.
The restaurant's signature dish, beef Romano.
With a prosciutto ham, Romano cheese, stuffed and double breaded.
Many famous faces have sat in these chairs.
Everybody who was everybody, particularly those celebrities, came here to dine at Al's.
Including Frank Sinatra, and that's quite a story from 1982.
Frank and Al were very close friends, and one night Frank came in by himself. And Al says, "Hey Frank, what can I get you?" He says, "Well, I'd like 2 steaks. He says, "2 steaks, Frank? What in the world do you want 2 steaks for? You're here by yourself." He says, "Well, my driver's out in the car watching my dog, and the steak's for my dog." He says, "Bring that dog in here." So Frank and his dog ate their meal at table 8.
Al's was the place to be, and still is.
Most recently, we had John Oates from Hall & Oates.
Al's continues to be a destination and a history lesson, as well as St. Louis's oldest single-family, locally owned and operated restaurant that has never moved.
We never have advertised, and so it's all by word of mouth.
And when the food is this good, that's all you need.
But that is truly amazing.
And you'll find Al's restaurant at 1200 North 1st Street. The number to call for reservations, which are recommended, 314-421-6399. The hours are on your screen. And her book, Unique Eats and Eateries of St. Louis, is available at a bunch of places. Left Bank Books for one, The Novel Neighbor, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's a awesome book. Great restaurant.
Whatever you brought back.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. I brought you back food because I was like, you need to try this, Heidi. Like this, I was so like, oh my God, this is, the
best thing that we've ever eaten.
The best thing I've ever eaten. And I had Al's pasta and the beef Romano. And what did you think?
It was amazing. I
just can't say enough about this place.
Why don't they have a written menu?
Oh, because they lost it. at some point, you know,
All right.
decades ago, and then they just decided to recite it from there on out. So it takes new servers like months to
I'm
memorize
sure.
it.
Awesome place, awesome history. Thanks, Dana.